DM, look up the Williamsburg one. I wonder what that if you don't mind. Cool. Thank you. I'm curious because I recall it being like, you know, this pyro orange is not semi-transparent. It is definitely opaque. I'd be shocked if it was labeled semi-transparent. It does, yeah, brands do it differently, and they could be using a different pigment provided by somebody else. And transparency is only dictated by particle size. So it's like, curious if it's like was manufactured or created in a different way. Cool. No way. Just so you know, the light fast information is not accurate anymore. I mean, look at, like, maybe? I don't know. It mixes like it's opaque. Well, so I watched a video on that exact topic, and it's an ASTM standard, I believe. But apparently those standards aren't reliable anymore, and it was discovered by Williamsburg. And Rublev and Williamsburg did a joint test together and proved that it does not hold true for does not hold true for what, like, prove that what Williamsburg found was correct based upon the standard. And so they're trying to get the Rublev and Williamsburg, or golden natural color, you know, what Williamsburg is on. It's trying to get the industry to join in on like a universal test because it's like so much work. But apparently other companies are not really cooperating. So there is no standard that the light fast ratings are currently held to. Like, the companies could say it's excellent light fast, but they don't need it to prove it to any group because there's no consistent standards between. At least that's according to Rublev. But they're one of the companies that have some of the more integrity than others I've seen. I'm becoming a Rublev stan, but it's because they make their information widely available and they like That's important to me. That's partially why I don't really use Windsor and Newton stuff. They, uh, at least they have some dangerous videos online. They don't seem to really do good research. I don't know. It bothers, ethically it bothers. Yeah. Like, I do appreciate that they make, you know, decent student grade paints, because that is important. But they don't have a lot of information that's reliable. Yeah. So Williamsburg, at least in my experience, and they're now owned by Golden Natural Color. They don't have the original, but they have shown some, like, at least integrity. Yeah. I have, like, basically, Rublev has won me over with their business practices and ethics, essentially, with how they try to inform people. Because it's not even like it's like they're doing a sales pitch for it. You watch their videos. Now, maybe their whole plan is to, like, win over people like me. It's fine. They have. Well, I'll say this, DM. Some of their colors are just as reasonably priced as other companies, and they do have Natural Pigments doesn't have an office in Europe, but yes, in general, their stuff is very. Yeah. I mean, I will say one. I will disagree on one note on that Old Holland, Windsor, and Newton statement. Is that certain colors, it's miles. There's miles of difference, and then in other colors, it's doesn't. Well, texture. If you really like texture, like creamy texture, then Michael Harding is your company. If your major priority in paint is texture, I'm not saying you are. That's what you buy. But no company has a higher focus. Oh, thick. Oh, okay, yeah. Thick, stiff texture, thick, is Williamsburg. Williamsburg all the way. There's no company that has, like, thicker paint. At least between Gamblin, Windsor, Newton, Michael Harding, Old Holland, and Utrecht. Yeah, I mean, you'll pay more, obviously. Oh, don't get don't get Williamsburg burnt umber. Well, personally, I don't like their burnt umber color. It's really desaturated. If you like I'll say this: if you like desaturated burnt umber and dark, then Williamsburg is your go-to. Yeah. But just word of warning on that one. Yeah. Well, all the umbers and ochres are, right? I'd never found so Michael Harding had the best color. Not far off from Old Holland's, but their texture was more transparent, creamy. So it didn't tint very strongly. So that was my problem with it. But I used I had a big 200 milliliter tube of that, 225 milliliter. I went through. Did a lot of paintings with that. Old Holland's was fine. It was like, the color was decent. Tinted fine. No real complaints. Williamsburg, hardest tinting, like it was almost opaque. And but it was really desaturated and dark, very dark. I mean, it mixed very dark and desaturated. And but for me, is the best price. It wasn't bad, but it was actually a fairly strong tinting burnt umber. Interestingly enough, so, you know, as you've heard me talk about like my color theory, I want a saturated burnt umber, and it desaturates a bit, yeah. So the most out of all the ones I've gotten from Rublev in pigment form, the one that I was using, and which I actually liked how it was, but it was a little bit more red than others. Is not the worst thing. But it was also the most opaque and saturated. I like the reddish side personally, but the pigment is actually a decent representation of it compared to like here. What's that? I think the cypress ones go more yellow. Can't see that very well. This is cypress burnt umber. But the problem is a lot of them go desaturated. Yeah. A lot of them go desaturated instead of more into yellow. Like, I didn't find one that was like really yellow. It's just more that they got lighter and went desaturated. Like you can see on the palette, this one is a lot more desaturated than either of these two. But you're gonna have a hard time finding ones that are more yellow. Personally, well, not personally. From what I know of, it's usually because if we're talking about the elements, the mineral content of it, hematite is a very common iron oxide, and hematite is red, right? Pure hematite is like, I think it's Venetian red, right? So what things make the color of umber is hematite, manganese, manganese being like a blackish tone, like a desat, it's like raw umber. Think of like a dark raw umber. A desaturated dark raw umber is like manganese. Is what manganese does to it. But so certain areas, right, have more manganese content. So the Williamsburg burnt umber had a high manganese content. I just, you know, as me, I can't use desaturated colors in my, I just can't do it. Not for me. But yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong, like there there are good uses for it. It's just like it seems like I could just take a good burnt umber and mix some ultramarine blue in it, and then I have raw umber. I know it's not as simple as that, but that's just like, since you're already gonna have like you're gonna have ultramarine blue most likely on any palette. Like, you're not really adding another color to do so. That's my thing. I know it's fun to buy paints though. Like, the one thing that kind of sucks about my situation, like how I like look at paints, is that I don't get to like have like the fun of just buying a bunch of different paints. I do get the fun of buying a bunch of pigments, but it's not like I really like am going to use a lot of them. What is James Gurney's limited palette? What's on it? If you don't mind. If you don't mind. Yeah. No, I get that aspect of it. Where using different colors kind of forces you to think about color theory differently, but frankly, I don't feel that uncomfortable matching a color. White. So is that the one where people do purple, orange, green for? Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I'm like. If I really wanted to do a stint where I'm focusing on values and temperature, I would do Zorn. I would do true Zorn palette. I still wouldn't use vermilion, but I would use the closest thing to vermilion, but I would use lead white. I do think there's benefit in that, but not for colors, for color mixing, but for exercises of value and temperature. I think that's the biggest benefit of a limited palette. True. Well, have I told you about my idea for the adjusted Zorn palette? By chance? So, so the Zorn palette traditionally is lead white, vermilion, yellow ochre, and ivory black. The modern incarnation of it that a lot of people is yellow ochre, ivory black, cad red light, or cadmium scarlet, cadmium red scarlet, and titanium white, right? Titanium white and lead white is a huge difference. But with those two, I'd make two changes. With that palette, I'd make two changes. Instead of ivory black, I'd use Payne's gray. And instead of yellow ochre, I'd use cadmium yellow lemon. Then keep titanium white and keep cad red white, or cadmium scarlet. Because you can make yellow ochre with that combination. You can mix yellow ochre, and that massively expands your greens, massively expands your purples. What you're sacrificing is a little bit of darkness and you know, the pure black aspect of it. But that does bring it more into a color mix. Takes away from the it takes away from some of the magic what Zorn was doing. No worries. You ready? No worries. I completely get it. All right. So like what people view as a traditional Zorn palette, even though it's incorrect, right now, is ivory black, yellow ochre, cad red light, and titanium white. So what I would do is I personally wouldn't use cad red light. I would use cadmium scarlet, cadmium red scarlet from Old Holland. But that's just a minute difference. But the two major changes I would do is instead of ivory black, I would use Payne's gray. And then for instead of yellow ochre, I would use cadmium lemon yellow. This opens up your greens and it opens up your purples, and you can mix yellow ochre out of that combination. And so you're not losing yellow ochre. You're gaining greens, you're gaining purples, actual greens and actual purple. Payne's gray has blue in it. It actually is it's usually it's a hue. It has take a look at the color. It's like it's basically, it's very, at least I think it is. But it's basically like mixing ultramarine blue and ivory blue. Is what Payne's gray is. It is a cool color. Oh, sorry. Ivory black's undertone is mildly warm. However, it's very close to neutral. So when you mix something that is as strong of temperature in one direction, it just massively goes. Because people think it's ivory black. Yeah, people think it's ivory black that's blue. No, it's titanium white that's blue. Titanium white mixes like it's a bluish, a bluish with a slight, or like leaning slightly towards purple. Yeah, and I think I that's one of those things that I thought a lot about on, and now I get angry when people like kind of misrepresent it. That situation, black is not doing any of that work in turning blue. It's all the titanium one. Yeah, no. I'm not mad at you or anything. It's just something you hear online, or people will just default to say that it's you know, well, ivory black is cool. It's just not. It's really neutral. Completely agree, DM. That's why I'm not like. I think I said it before on my first description when you were away, but like, it defeats the purpose of why you should be using the Zorn palette, to learn temperature and values, and to learn the illusion that you can create with paints. Right? Yeah. So like, I actually feel fairly strongly about the Zorn palette, that it should not be considered. It should not be considered a beginner's palette. I don't know, like, I don't know where people like kind of like thought that it was a good idea, like with something that level. But it's like, it's, if you think about it conceptually, it'd be a nightmare for students. Yeah, but I hear like I've heard stories of people saying that they did it in like art school, like fairly early on. But it doesn't seem like it should be that foreign of like a concept, right? Like, no. So the only issue I have with using red, yellow, blue is that there's no blue that's going to give you the range that you want. So you're always going to be dealing with desaturation. So if you're doing the color mixing, it depends on the context on what colors you're trying to make. And what yellow you're using. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion. Yeah. I mean, I love talking about this like theory crafting. It's well, I guess this is the shit me and you think about. Cobalt teal is cobalt teal. Kind of does everything you're looking for. Cobalt blue is not a strong tinter either, and it's expensive as well. But like what you're describing, that like things you need or want to do. Well, so like, you know, cobalt teal will open up your greens, right? It will open up your violets. Even with red, it will still work with red. At least a cool red. Like if you use cobalt teal and alizarin crimson, you'll get a crazy strong. You'll get a crazy strong version. If I was using a palette with just every color I wanted on there, cobalt teal would be a part. Like if I expanded to using even 9, like let's say 9 colors. If I use 3 additional tubes of paint for everyday painting, cobalt teal would make that cut. I'd probably add cobalt teal, I'd probably add yellow ochre. And then it's up in the air between either a transparent, like red oxide, probably in this context, maybe a quinacridone magenta or a alizarin. But I wouldn't use both of those ever on the same palette. But it'd probably be the. I like quinacridone magenta more so than I like alizarin. I guess that's just like the nature of how I mix though. Like I like opaqueness. But that's probably a significant like weakness in my thought process right now. That's why I'm going to explore the transparent red oxide and the yellow as well. I agree with you. I think I am too by thinking that way. Well, so that's like it was like the the video, the Arthur Gain video that we discussed a little bit, where he did that. It depends on how accurate his statement is. If it is true, if it is empirically true that transparent colors don't change value, yeah. If it's true though that transparent colors, specifically in the dark ranges, don't change value, then I would have to add those to my palette. Right. But what I do know is that ultramarine blue is transparent, and it does change value. Yeah, me too. I mean, that's that's like getting to like the issue of like learning online for art matters, is that a lot of people tell you wrong information. Well, that's what he was doing though, right? At least in his demonstration. Yeah, and that's the like really frustrating part of all of this. That's why I'm kind of like careful with who I recommend, or even telling people to like do research on YouTube, because I've been through that gauntlet and I found very little that was Mark Carter, Ben Lustenhauer, Lustenhower. Yeah, Arthur's good. Ben Lustenhauer is a good portrait artist, and if like he has some good videos on kind of painting technique. I'm not a fan of his palette, but he gives good practical advice. But don't go there for like technical advice. Yep. But he's a sweet older man who's just like, he's a professional portrait artist, makes videos. You know, he can't be making any real money off of it or anything like that. It's just kind of like, just nice. He's amazing watercolor guy too. He does oils and watercolor. He's just cute, right? Like the best way to explain it, he's just like he's cute, but he's very serious about his work. But he gives a lot of good advice on actual painting. He doesn't tell you to like use a certain palette, but he'll talk about the colors he's using. He'll talk about some of the premixes but he's definitely worth like spending some time with. He was actually one of the first guys I kind of latched on to when I was learning. Nice. Like I said, you're not gonna find like technical information, but he'll say like profound things that make sense. Like one that's always stuck with me is like a simpler statement makes for a stronger portrait. Right? He paints in a way that I think you like, or you've said that you like, where it's like efficient brushstrokes. He's really good with that. He's very good with efficient brushstroke. Yeah, I enjoy it quite a bit as well. So it sounds like I think you'll like him. I think you'll like him. And there's something to be said for a guy who made his living doing portraits. Yeah, no. Stay with mine. No. You're the only person talking right now. I think Dia's passed out. I could say something perverted to try and get her attention. They have forsaken us. Possibly. But it's not like I'm gonna stop talking about it. The shit's too fun. How dare they? God, I love talking about paints. He uses a lot of colors, but I'll say this, it's still somewhat practical. Like he uses iron red oxide, he uses Terra Rosa skin, which is probably one of the best default colors for mixing skin tones. He doesn't use anything like exotic. Like Arthur uses exotic paints. Yeah, it's not what I would go with either. But I would say that's one fault of Arthur's palette is he uses exotic paint. Like he uses true vermilion, which I, like I said, am wholly against. I'd argue with him about it. I know that's pompous of me, but in my opinion, you're just putting yourself in danger. I think he does. Thanks, Polska Dot. How are you? How did work end up? Nice. That's right, stick it to the man. Fuck him. That's good. Right, that balls. Oh, interesting. I'm too compelling, DM. I'm just too compelling of a streamer. Personality. The good looks help as well. I'm surprised anybody leaves the stream. According to June, I look like Kurt Russell from the thing. Perfect, right? I'm the complete package. Thank you, Polska Dot. I have not done a self-portrait. Actually, sorry. 2 paintings ago. If you check my Instagram. Did a self-portrait of myself out on a walk. Yep, it's on my Instagram. Totally was me. Out for a stroll. What? What? Innocent, I tell you. Thank you. There we go, DM. That's why I was laughing like a jag-off the whole time. So handsome. I made that joke way too many times though during the stream, so I'm probably banned. Yeah. I figured you'd look again if even if I was sounding like like I was fine. So I abused your kindness. For that, I will not apologize. You finally figured it out, DM. I did Maddie Matheson Polska. That was a good one. I was fairly happy with that. I'm not familiar with Vaughn's Evil Lair. What is Vaughn's Evil Lair? I've just watched his I've watched his TV shows and like stuff on YouTube. I find him very entertaining. But I'm not familiar with Vaughn's Evil. Is it a podcast or what is it? Oh, okay. How did you find me? Was it an Abadoc? I watched Alla's stream yesterday. It was a good time. He's actually it's a pretty entertaining. I didn't know what his show was at all, but it was entertaining. He was like a fun guy. Yeah. Yeah, he has a way of talking that's like comfortable. It makes you feel comfortable. That's like how my brainwashing works. I brainwash all my viewers so they'll never leave and they'll give me all their money. Right? Works incredibly well. Just ask DM. Or I don't advertise myself at all because I feel weird about it. It's one or the other. Do I exhibit? No. No. I'm not confident enough with that. I aspire to, but I don't like I've sold one painting to a non-family. I've only sold one painting to a non-family. Give you an idea, and I haven't done a commission for a non. But I also just like I'm not really out there enough. I don't know those avenues. I would though. No, I'm pretty realistic about what my skill level is, frankly. Like, I don't... So, like, Polska, I'm like, basically self-taught. Recently I've gotten critique from people. Helped a lot. But, I started painting less than 2 years ago. And, I'm pretty realistic about where my skill level is at. What I can do. Right? I personally consider it a strength of mine, but what it will I will pursue that more when I think that I have the ability. I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm just like pretending to be something, a skill level that I'm not. This is not a commentary on anybody else but my own. But like, you know, I'm like, you know, very like I know what I've struggled with. I know how my paintings have gone in the past. I know that I need to continue to get better. Yeah,
This place has class.
Noctis Inc. Thank you for the follow. I'll say this. This sounds vapid of me to a certain extent, but like, what compels me about art? No. It's perfectly fine. What compels me about art that I've seen or art that I love is technical execution of challenging subjects. So the art that has excited me the most has been like John Singer Sargent and just hitting all of his values perfectly. Anders Zorn just manipulating our heads like we're like. Thank you so much, Noctis. Anders Zorn just like pulling off all these illusions. And to me, it's such like a technical understanding and grasp of their craft that I admire. That's what I strive for. How are you, Noctis? If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be sure to answer anything. I'll even make up answers if I don't know. Rest assured. Yeah, DM, I think that's why we kind of like get along with our art talk as well as we do. You get along famously. You're welcome. And Polska, it really doesn't like, that is not something I'm trying to hide, or I'd say that to, you know, it's how I honestly feel. I don't like I'll say like here's another like I have yet to be compelled. I have not been compelled by like abstract art. Yep. I'm sure it could happen. I'm hopeful that'll happen. But it's to me it's like I can't see the technical side of it like I can with other things. I'm not saying there's not a technical side, but it's more about what I perceive. So like, because I don't like necessarily get emotional responses. Yeah. Haig Heigman, how you doing, bud? Definitely, DM. Look up the history of Yin Min Blue. Yin, like I think it's just spelled YNNMN. Yin Min Blue was discovered, I think, like I don't know, 20 years ago, or was created. Yeah. I did not know that about. I didn't know that for. It was bad for oil. Interesting. So yeah, I like. My main like what I strive for as an artist is to have technical mastery. If I want, that's what I'm going for. Frankly, all I care about it. Was it gambling? I know it was super expensive to make. Yeah, I want to say it was gambling. All right. Yeah. Who was gambling? Okay. I'm surprised I remembered that. I don't even know where I heard it from. So Polska Dot, my favorite. So in order is John Singer Sargent, then Anders Zorn. So Anders Zorn with a Z. And then Ilya, Ilya, Repin, Repin, is my third favorite. Yep. Look up Andrew Zorn's work. He's a magician. In my opinion, he's just, like, he's arguably as skilled as Sargent, but what he does is just a lot different. Yep, you got him right. Interesting. That sounds useless. Dude, we just made this expensive color, and listen to this. It doesn't do anything. Oh, cool. Yeah. And we're going to charge a lot for it. Even better. I thought, I mean, so it's like cobalt blue, right? Cobalt blue is normally the neutral blue. Yeah. All right, listen, guys. We're gonna pretend that a cobalt blue hue is called this weird name called Yinmen blue. Then we're gonna charge. We're gonna say it's really rare, and we're gonna charge a lot of money. Who's that? Interesting. Which painter, Polska Dot? That's the way to get rich, yeah. Dorn, yeah. If you're not familiar with like color theory, it's kind of hard to explain why I'm so adamant about Zorn being held in the regard. Outside of his paintings just obviously being amazing, but there's another technical aspect though that remind me about it the next time I'm not in hour 13. But I can explain it to you. I just at the moment it's not something I gotta want to go through. Wait, I'm in hour 30. We're almost done anyway. Zorn just, he's straight up amazing. I love his stuff so much. You're sleepy. Probably you've been here for you've been hanging out for part of the day. Go get some rest. Or else. Don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe. If that's what I'm supposed to say. Well, thank you, Polska. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, see, Ian did it. All right, good. So I am correct. That is what I'm supposed to say. That's what Greenbag was telling me. I don't know the YouTubes though. Well, this is a good stream for you because at least you get to see the whole progression. You get to talk about it, challenge it, think about it. A lot. I do not know Todd Casey. I do not. Let me guess. An athlete. Oh, really? Okay, interesting. Do you believe him, though? Knowing what you just read? Yeah. All right, good. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm going to sleep right after this is done. Might not even take a picture tonight. Which one? Because there's a portrait that I love of them. The woman with who's like tying her hair with the orange hair in the kitchen. I think that one is like my favorite. one of my Zorn's favorite portraits. I don't know the name of it. It's one of his more famous ones though. Listen. Thanks. This is not correct, huh? Ink. Not wrong. It's not like I'm trying to do this. Just that I'm just incompetent enough at painting where things take too long. Yeah, she's tying up her hair. Redhead. I think it's a combination, and yeah, I know I'm like, it's not well, all right. There is some truth what I mean when I say incompetence, where it's like fucking up certain values and then having to do them over and over again. That's what I'm kind of like implying with like the yep. Polska, those are great. Yeah, so it's like, it's not necessarily like the worst thing, it's how I learned, but it's also like, if I was a better painter, this would or if I had more of the basics down, this stuff wouldn't be like, wouldn't take me this long. That's okay. It's not like I don't, dislike painting. Just that I need to get better at it at all costs. Okay, you see it now? Okay. No, she's not nude. Not in that one. I have done something similar, DM, and they're in my Instagram, but I did brushstroke limit exercises. where I limited the amount of brushstrokes I could do. But yeah, time limit exercise would be beneficial. It was an interesting experience. Polska, what do you think of it? If you don't like it, I'm going to be devastated. All right. You want to hang that one, huh? All right. Fine. I'm devastated. Well, that goes to one of the things I was going to explain to you about Zorn, why he's. But next time you're in, remind me about it, and I'll discuss. I'll do the full discussion. Just everywhere, the chaos of it all. It's like a Polska. It's like a solid 20-minute discussion. Just FYI, that's the reason why I'm not doing it now. Because I'm passionate about it. I don't want to risk not doing it justice. Somebody might die. Who knows? You flatter me. No, I get it. I'll tell you this. I'll explain. I'll give you a little bit of what I'm just talking about. He used a limited palette, the Zorn palette. It's famous for its simplicity and the amount of colors. However, how he used it is the topic that we'll discuss. Because what he did was extremely impressive. So so I'm gonna show you some of the elements of what he did and why he's kind of considered a master Not why he's kind of. He is considered a master. For mine, so technically I didn't need the teal, but I have 8 different colors of my palette. I normally only use 6 for a general realism painting. So like a lot of people will have like anywhere from 10 to 15 on their palette. I disagree with that generally in principle, but I'm a smug prick. I'm not a smug prick. I'm just like I'm like principled on that matter to a certain extent. Yes, I am principled about the number, actually. That's not like an... That's... I think people use way too many colors on their palettes. And even if they say it's for, like, to make things easier, I think it detracts from developing skills. So I think it... Not like, if you're a professional and you want to make things easier, you know it. But I'm talking through the context of somebody. I think using too many palettes when you're learning is an act of detriment to your learning. Welcome back. It's already lunchtime for you. It's 5:30. I need to fit. I'm mad at myself. I started early today, too. No good at this. I'm not going to take another break because I'm almost done. Don't use a redeem, please. I don't want to take that time. Talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging out, bud. I would be upset if somebody used redeem on that right now. Well, thank you, Polska. I know I could be, you're very kind and sweet. I could be very, self-deprecating. But it is rooted in, like, the standard in which I try and hold myself to. With learning and such. Nice talk with you, Polska Dot. I'm just waiting for Dia to like, step right in. Like, good night, Polska. Please ask me about the Zorn palette next time. I will be happy to explain it to you. Great. And green. Well. You cursed me. You did this to me. Thank you. I'm hanging in there fine. You did this to me. What the fuck? Thinking of at one. Christ. Well, welcome back. I'm glad I can make your dreams come true. Well, don't you set multiple alarms anyways? You're like me, Lizzie. I've done that for years too. Are you working today? Work on Labor Day? I'm sorry about that. I do hope you have a wonderful day. Liz, have a wonderful day. I hope your day goes easy and fast. Thank you for stopping by again. I will not thank you for the curse. But I hope your day goes well.
Fuck the fucking fuckers.
Oh my god. Okay. My god, the sun's coming up. I think it is.
This place has class.
Ruiz Chots Akcha. Iliovic. Leovovich. Thank you for the follow. Best I could do. Hello. Hope you are well. Thank you for the follow. I think so. I'm looking at through curtains though. Real deep. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired. But I'm crazy. It's just that, like, I am right now, it's just like I'm so close to just calling it. Do you see anything horrendously wrong? I do kind of hate this. But I'm sure as shit not going to redo it. Quick look. Yeah, I got you. Thank you. You know, the one thing that is getting tired on me is my neck. I'm losing realism here, but I you know what we're gonna call it. Last thing. I swear. This one. Or no, I see what you're saying. Good enough. Okay. Wait, what was the last thing I said I was gonna do? Nope, we're done. We're gonna burn it. We're gonna cast it into the fire. I know, if I see, I'm gonna look at it tomorrow, and if I'm gonna get my buddy, Elrond over here. We're gonna take a nice leisurely walk. We're gonna cast it into the fire. Or will I betray him? Can't say I'm above betraying Elrond. It does seem best, doesn't it? And thank you, Hilo. I hope you enjoyed your time here. There'll be coffee and cake served in the waiting room. Not free, though. Nice meeting you, Hilo. I don't save leftover paints, DM. They start to dry, even more so than they already have. And that comes with some risk. Plus, they're dirty. Plus those the most amount of paint I wasted there was the burnt umbers. Yeah, a lot of people do. Like I said, it doesn't stop drying though. So like, best practice, it's best to avoid painting with drying paint. Yeah. So I'm not that like concerned about the cost also, so. I'd say it's wasteful, but it's also not necessarily ideal practice. I'm not rich either. Not until you guys pay me for all these painting lessons. All right, what was it? $3,783.26, something like that. I mowed. But DM, one counterpoint to that is you should start practicing as if every painting is archival quality. So when you get to that point, you know what to do. You're welcome. That would be my counterpoint. And don't forget, my used gloves are going for sale. On my OnlyFans. True. Used gloves on OnlyFans. Can you imagine? Oh my god. Don't get me wrong, if somebody wants to buy my used gloves, I'll sell them to them. Yeah, I will. I'm not going to raid anybody. I don't have the energy to frankly do it. I don't want to... don't feel like doing it. So, anywho, thank you for anyone who's still here. Night-night. I'm going to sleep. I'm pretty sure this is how I feel right now. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Thank you so much. See y'all later.